This is the heart quality of the Absolute. I use the term Absolute to mean the source.
The source.
Of all creation and manifestation.
Natural goodness.
So it's not a heart quality you need to create or maintain. Just open and orient to it.
Open out.
With a willingness to receive.
To receive, the experience, the happening.
For some of you, it may be appearing as a gold light, gold brilliancy.
Gold light.
Radiating into and from your heart chakra. Deeply sense that this is not your creation.
This is not yours. This is not owned. This is not possessed. You didn't create this. You didn't make this.
This is the function of the Absolute.
This happening, this experiencing is the function of the Absolute.
That quality of radiance expand in any way it wishes within your consciousness. You don't create or control any goodness. You simply are any goodness.
This is live. This is all live, everybody. Yeah, it's good. Everything's good.
Just allow thoughts to recede into the distance. You don't need to participate in thought. Allow the spaciousness to be here.
There's no need to participate in thought. Allow the spaciousness to be here. It's rich. The wealth of spaciousness is rich.
Softening your effort, any doing.
Soften effort, soften doing.
Be willing to just be.
Be willing to just be.
With the radiance.
With the radiance.
Brilliantly golden light. Purifying. Letting you contact your value. The value of being. You never
Meditate.
need to earn any goodness, nor can we do anything to lose it. It's always present and available. As you make deeper contact with innate goodness, Try to relax your effort. Soften any doing. Let go of any wish to get anywhere. Right here.
This is live. All of this is live. Living, breathing, now, now, now. Living, breathing, now, now, now.
Somebody may be feeling this brilliant golden light is enveloping you. Let that happen. Relax any effort,
Well, we're all changing, aren't we?
down any desire to get anywhere. Just be here, in this breath, with any goodness. We'll sit in silence together until I ring the bell.
This is the guy. This is Mugen Roshi. He's giving the one-day retreat. This is live. This is in the Zoom meeting. This guy. He's a real superstar, a real spiritual superstar, and old as all hell. So he's live right now. And we're here. We're tuning in. Shh. Supposed to sign up. Supposed to join. But you get it for free as a part of the Monk Life subscriber program. Oi. Meditate, relax. I doubt it. And what's better anyway? What's better anyway? Mugen Roshi, M-U-G-E-N-R-O-S-H-I. He's good, I like him. Especially this is a good guided meditation he's giving. Very nice. You know, what is better? That's kind of nonsensical. But in sitting in a fucking hall, facing the wall and not going crazy, he's definitely better, I'll tell you that. He's a lot more skillful in that than I am. As far as I know, last time I checked. Peace and love. Let the golden light envelope you. okay, everybody dies, man. Everybody dies. Just let it go. Move on. Calm and beautiful. All right, it turns out we had what we needed all along. The master, he's meditating. Look, we're together with him. We're together with the group. His Zoom meeting has like 50 people. So he's really... You can learn a lot from someone like him, you know? All of us. Okay, what are you aware of? Well, this isn't about what you do or what you're aware of. You don't need to be aware of a lot of things, so don't worry about that. Don't think about it. Meditate. Feel that golden light. That's what's important. Meditate on the golden light. But really, the first person, as they say, shooter game, it's actually just a matter of frickin', you're just pointing and clicking, you know what I mean? That's all you're really doing. And they're just putting an overlay, you know, created images on a screen that make it interesting to point and click. But that's the only thing that's really going on, is the pointing and clicking. So what does that say about, you know, human consciousness as well, you know, these overlays that we have on our identity and our story? Don't get caught up. Don't get worked up in the way of feeling, because that's, what is it? It's a temporary feeling. You just, go. Be in the way of going. Be unlimited in the way of going. What I mean by that is that don't get excited by the excitement, don't get afraid of the fear, don't get pulled into the pulling in. Be in, be with the presence. The real sense of presence and being in whatever, in anything. We're not really talking about gay stuff right now. But as long as you're not really hurting anybody, well, you're doing everybody a favor then, aren't you? Yeah, that's like I said, being gay isn't a problem, it's lust. Being lost in lust is a problem. Does that make sense? So whether you're gay or straight or whatever, if you're lost in lust, that's going to create problems. It's dangerous. I don't have many clothes. Nobody's more against Western school than me, but when it comes down to it, there is a certain quality of need for grammar and things like that. There's a certain value to it. Good evening from France. All right, Constantine with the BGN. You got a big donation. I'm a real streamer, baby. I'm a real streamer. We're getting donations left and right, baby. Ooh, you were ready for the shotgun, were you? Oh. Great, great. Good for you. Enjoy it. Enjoy your letting go. So we can get some charge in here. We're here, everybody. Don't worry. Everything's going to be just fine. And we are meditating. We are in a meditative environment. Stephen Mugen Roshi is here with us, actually. Halo Infinite. Wait. My mouse just died? Oh my gosh. Well, Mugen Roshi and his followers are supposed to be meditating, and we're just enjoying the leftover energy from their meditative presence. Here's the guy right here, live. He's hard at work. He'll be back soon. He'll be speaking to us soon. Look at this, all these people in there meditating. It's a lot of energy right there. A lot of followers. That guy looks like he might be having a little bit of a tough time. All right, here we go. Listen for the bell. That's right, Humpty Dumpty. Whatever wall that we sit on, that's the wall we're going to fall down from. That's the way that it goes. So don't be anyone. Don't be doing anything. What am I doing? Shut up. What's all that extra noise? Don't I have enough to deal with? know what that was about, everybody, but you got to keep. I knew I was more famous than that. The signal was cutting out. Brilliant.
Back, everyone. Want to check in first and see if there are any questions or comments about the meditation. Don't need to be questions or comments, but if you have one, welcome to raise your hand.
So, I was struggling a lot with staying focused, getting a little drowsy and things like this. And I wondered during the meditation whether, much like Anapanasati meditation, if in this kind of practice, if we take the heart chakra as a concentration object, or whether it's a different, if we should approach it a different way.
The innate goodness is actually the meditative object. If you were to be having a challenging time with that, you could start with the heart chakra itself, and then as innate goodness becomes more prominent, you want to shift to the felt sense. If that is challenging, then go back to the memory of innate goodness, witnessing that, feeling that from the memory, the resonance of that experience, and that should help unfold. This may be a new practice to you as well, and so with time, we get accustomed to it and learn the ins and outs, as it were. That done? It's a little hard to hear you. If you could get a little closer to the mic, maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
So I've been practicing for 4 or 5 years, and I started to have those nice pleasant states since last year, and I can enter into them without any effort. I just have to sit, and they are becoming very cool and very, very calming, very, very pleasant, getting more deeper. So I want to ask you that, for example, the one you just guided us with the metta, starting from the belly and then go towards the heart. So for me, it's very easy because I can sense my sensation, body sensations very, very clearly. And this body, I don't want to call it rapture because it's not excitement. It's very pleasant. It's just like you're taking a bath or something like in a hot weather, and it was very cool. So is it, and then of course what happens that I will, if I not think about anything. So my question is that even if I bring into any negative memory, still that pleasant feelings are still there. Mind is aware of that is so pleasant in the body, and that any negative uh, memory comes, but it does not even impact anything. It does not impact the mind and the body. It's just there as a memory. So I want to ask you that in those states, do you need to completely they should just vanish, or it's just they can be there as a thing and not they're not impacting you. I don't know if I can say it correctly, or does it make sense what I'm saying?
It does. Are you doing any meditation practice or simply opening to these sensations?
I'm with my breath, Anapanasati.
Okay.
But that's my main object. That's why all the cool breeze,
Okay.
the whole body becomes like a air coming from each pore of my body.
Okay. Yeah, so what you're describing is the jhana factors, which are the signs of access concentration, which would tell us that you have good concentration on the breath. And the jhana factor piti is joy, is a bodily felt, so from the head, not from the head, neck down, is a feeling of joy and ease and relaxation. In the head, we call it sukha, which is translated as bliss. And just where there's no problem, everything is fine, it's smooth. So again, these are very beneficial, helpful experiences. They can arise in any meditation, and the jhana factors can be present in all meditations. So just stay with the breath, not trying to hold on to these experiences, the jhana factors, and just letting them be there when they're there and letting them go when they're gone. But just keep letting go, putting down as much effort in doing as you can with the breath, and the practice will keep developing.
Yeah, the one thing is, Vijay, even after the practice, there's coolness, very coolness in my head, starts with the head and just dripping down. It stays even after meditation. So I just, okay. So
Stay
that's
with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
All right, so I'm going to turn and start exploring
Good teacher.
stream entry. And I first want to touch on my viewpoint, my presentation of how this works. So the source of all manifestation and creation, I call the absolute, because it's absolute truth and absolute clarity, all those qualities. There's just a unconditioned quality to the absolute. And I further describe it as having two main functions: the manifest, which would contain the pure love, the unborn, unconditioned love of the absolute, as well as the pure presence, the beingness, the here-ness, the solidity of the experience of the absolute, and pure awareness,
Just
which
listen.
is awareness without an observer. So it's just subject and object collapse, and there's just awareness.
Just listen. Shut
The
up.
other function, main function of the absolute, is the unmanifest, which is characterized by absence, what traditionally is called emptiness in Buddhism. Deep peace. This is a peace that's not conditioned. It's not in opposition to any kind of struggle. And also a profound stillness, which is the canvas upon which silence and noise appear. At the center of the absolute, the source of the absolute, is cessation. Cessation is a combination of all of the qualities of the absolute in their most potent force, in their most intense experience. The absolute is very welcoming and warm, and it accepts whatever comes within its reach, let's say. The experience of cessation itself is a cessation
Shut your mouth.
of all mentality and materiality. That means that when cessation is present, there's no awareness, there's no consciousness. The closest we have to cessation is a dreamless sleep. So it would be experienced initially as a complete, perfect black blackness, a welcoming quality that absorbs everything. Anything that we have, whether our physicality or mentality, are quieted, are extinguished for the period of time that cessation is occurring. Cessation is required for there to be an experience or a confirmation of stream entry. We can also talk about stream entry in the Zen tradition, which I'll do a little later today. But in the Theravadan tradition, there's 3 approaches to cessation that I know of. The most traditional approach is one would complete the entire samatha practices, of which there are something like 40 meditations and practices. And then one would complete the 8 stages of insight. And the last stage of insight would be taking Nibbana, which is the same as cessation as the meditative object. And by doing so, cessation can open and absorb that individual, that materiality and mentality. One of the observations I've made working with students who've had cessation experiences, as well as my own experiences, is that it has to be a sustained enough experience for there to be a significant shift in how the personality is held. What's called personality view falls away if the experience of cessation is to a particular depth. And that doesn't mean that the personality itself goes away. We still have a personality and psychological structuring. But the viewpoint, the allegiance to the viewpoint from that personality is what falls away.
Shut the fuck up.
And consequently, what happens when the personality view softens and drops away is that the individual is rooted in what we call the Zen tradition, their true nature. A true nature means the qualities of the absolute in our particular consciousness. There isn't more than one consciousness, there's simply consciousness. We talk about it as my consciousness and your consciousness because we have particular subjective viewpoints. There's an observation happening from this seat. There's an observation happening from that seat. It doesn't mean that there's more than one consciousness or more than one awareness. So that shift in personality view,
Yeah, he's a
landing
Zen
in
master monk.
that
Zen.
deep quality
American
of true
Zen.
nature is one of the confirmation signs of stream entry.
The fuck does that
One of
even
the
mean, though?
benefits of stream entry is that following stream entry, we begin to be able to see our personality from a more objective viewpoint. Rather than being completely identified with it, we can see it as a functioning of this being, the experience of this being, but it's not objectively, independently true. It's just the experiences of this body and this personality that have formed into a particular view. So that means we can start working with a lot of the personality issues and viewpoints. Another approach or entry to cessation can occur if we complete the samatha portion of the Theravadan path, particularly doing a deep experience of each of the 8 jhanas, the 8 absorptions. And the 8th jhana, which is also called the formless realm, is the base of neither perception nor non-perception. What that means in simple language is it's completely non-conceptual. There's no concept at all. It's direct experience of reality without any conceptual overlay or interpretation. So quite a profound experience to have sustained absorption in that quality of the absolute. once one has experienced a deep, sustained time in the eighth jhana, when returning back to the access concentration of that eighth jhana, and I should mention there are 3 levels of meditative concentration. The first is momentary concentration, where is our awareness in this moment? When we have sustained contact with our meditative object for 10 to 15 minutes or more without serious interruption, that would be the commencement of the second level of meditative concentration, called access concentration. Every meditation
It's
has
live.
the
It's
potential
a Zoom
for these
meeting.
2 levels of meditation. Only concentration meditations, that means meditation with an unchanging, unmoving object, can support us experiencing the 3rd level of meditative concentration called absorption or jhana. So there are only particular meditations that's possible. The jhanas is one of them that it's possible to do. So it's complete absorption without any sense of self, without any thought. It's a direct unity with a specific quality or function.
Somebody's got to do something about these goddamn trucks.
So after one has had a sustained experience of the eighth jhana, again, the base of neither perception nor non-perception, there's the potential from the access concentration of eighth jhana to enter into what I call the ninth jhana, which is the absolute realm. In the absolute realm, there's the potential to make contact with the experience of cessation. This is a lesser known path, but it is possible for some folks who have attained the full 8 jhanas. The third manner of opening to making contact with experiencing cessation is through the guided meditations that I do. Or
That's a stupid thing to say.
I'm able to guide meditations, describe what's happening in the meditation, and there are students of mine who have been able to have deep experiences of cessation. Again, where all materiality and mentality ceases. So those are the 3 paths that I know of.
The third path is his guided meditations. That's
One to contact and surrender to
a weird thing to say.
Cessation primarily is access to the unmanifest functioning of the absolute.
Get off my case.
That there's a deep quality of absence, what traditionally is called emptiness. So a nothingness, a vastness, a void. There's a deep quality of peace, of the peace that's beyond any concept. It's a peace that just makes anything peaceful at contact. And then finally, there's the profound stillness. This is a stillness, again, that underlies all noise and all silence. So even at this moment, stillness is present. If any of you are experiencing right now a slight ringing in the ears, that can be an indication that stillness is in our field, is here. This is one of the ways we can recognize stillness. Go ahead and pause here and see if there's any questions or any clarification I can make. All right, well, let's do a little practice then. We'll do a guided meditation, opening to the unmanifest absolute. We'll see what happens.
All right, try to meditate, everybody.
Start by settling yourself into your meditation posture. Starting with the settling belly breaths, letting yourself fully arrive in this moment. These guided meditations, just let yourself be guided. Follow what I'm saying. Feel what I'm referring to or pointing to. The exact experience I'm describing. If I'm seeing something, you don't have to necessarily see it. Just let yourself be impacted by the words and experience. Start with some settling belly breaths, letting go of any thoughts that are present. We don't need to stop thinking, we just need to stop engaging with thought. Let the thoughts be like clouds floating across the sky. Start by inviting awareness to the hara. Again, this is the energetic belly center. About breaths below the navel and 2 or 3 finger breaths in from the surface of the skin. Enter the hara with curiosity and not knowing, not expecting anything to be here or not be here. Breathe into the hara if possible, letting yourself settle. This will be a new meditation for some of you, but just let yourself follow along, letting the practice and the field impact you in whatever way is appropriate. Let awareness open in the hara. Feeling the deep groundedness and seatedness, the openness. On the next in-breath, without fully leaving the hara, invite awareness to the heart chakra located in the chest cavity. Breathing into the chest cavity if possible. It's curiosity and not knowing. We never know what we're going to encounter or experience. We just remain open. Without fully leaving the hara or heart chakra, invite awareness to the center of the forehead, what's called the wisdom eye in Theravada Buddhism and the Dharma eye in the Zen tradition. People report a sensation like the pressing of a thumb on the wisdom eye. Others, when they make contact here, will feel a movement of energy of some kind. And others still will have no sensation at all. Any of these is just fine. Just maintain awareness in the center of the forehead, breathing in if possible. The wisdom eye is an important chakra. It's used in Theravada Buddhism for inner sight. In other words, to see our meditation. It's also used to help us develop intuitive knowing. It's knowing by non-thinking. We know through experience, through contact, not through reflection or mentalizing. Breathe into the wisdom eye if possible.
It's a little bit.
If you're one who is feeling energy activity in the wisdom eye, just let that happen without trying to control it or direct it. Maintaining a little awareness in the hara heart and wisdom eye. Invite awareness to the top of the head, what's called the crown chakra. This is a very important portal, important energy center. This is the portal through which awareness and consciousness journey. deep into the absolute, making contact with the formless jhanas or realms, making direct contact with qualities and functions of the absolute, and potentially opening to the welcoming embrace of cessation. We also can receive knowing, intuitive knowing from the absolute through the crown chakra. So it's an important portal in our practice. Breathe into the crown chakra, sensing this important portal. Some of you may be noticing you're sitting in awareness, a field of awareness with our Sangha here, contributing and receiving from that potent field. Just let that happen. Allowing a little awareness to remain at the hara, heart chakra, wisdom eye, and crown chakra. Invite awareness to the universal chakra, about 18 inches or half a meter above the crown chakra. As you contact the universal chakra, you will notice it's more objective, more neutral. There's less of a quality or fragrance of you. If possible, breathe into the universal chakra with curiosity and don't know mind. without fully letting awareness leave all chakras. Invite awareness to your interiority, to what feels to be inside. Wanting to make contact with our interiority to see if body and mind are in a flow of unity, of oneness, or if there seems to be a separation, body being from the neck down and mind being in the head. For those of you who feel the unity, the oneness, just rest in that unity. For those of you who feel body and mind with a separation, just hold body, mind, and separation as one without doing anything further. By maintaining awareness on body, mind, and separation, it causes the concept of separation to soften and fade, and the unity will be revealed. Notice that the concept of separation is beginning to erode and fall away. And the unity of body and mind is in a perceived flow, a oneness, a unity. Resting in the body-mind unity of your interiority, let awareness make contact with the outer atmosphere, the energy, the awareness that's slightly outside your body. Noticing if the inner atmosphere and the outer atmosphere are the same or different. Is there a resonance of sameness or a slight perception of a difference? If you're feeling the unity of inner and outer atmospheres, just stay with that unity as the body boundary, as the perception of our body location softens and falls away. If inner and outer atmospheres feel slightly different frequencies, simply stay holding inner and outer atmosphere, letting inner and outer harmonize themselves into a unity. unity of body and mind is stage 1 of the meditation Shikantaza, a harmonization or unity of inner and outer atmospheres is stage 2 of Shikantaza. As the inner and outer atmospheres harmonize, the perception of body boundary, the perception of your location as a body will begin to soften. Some of you may not be able to perceive your head or other parts of your body may feel to be missing. Just let that happen. As inner and outer atmospheres begin to harmonize as one, the unity results in the lessening of contact with the body boundary. We can't quite perceive all of our body. Again, let that happen. Where the body boundary is absent, there's a spaciousness, a vastness, an awareness to begin to move into that vastness, the rich blackness, the blackest black you've ever experienced or seen. This blackness is the absence of all color. This is the absence, the emptiness of the absolute. With awareness open and reach for any edges or boundaries you can find in this vast blackness, this nothingness, this void. Some of you may be experiencing the ringing in your ears, what we call the nada. This is a sign of the presence of a profound stillness. A stillness that absorbs all sound and silence. Just let that nada happen. Sensing into and feeling the vast blackness and the profound stillness. You may be noticing an ease, a quality of smoothness in the vast blackness It's the quality of deep peace, welcoming and accepting everything, letting all activity return to peace. But there doesn't need to be any doing, any effort. Let awareness be drawn deeper into this vast, peaceful blackness, letting go of any urge to control or direct, letting go of any expectation of experience. Surrender all effort. Put down all doing. Let awareness and consciousness be drawn deeper into that profound stillness, the vast blackness, the peaceful nothingness of absence. Whatever arises in your experience, let go. Offer it. Put it down. There's nothing to hold on to here. There's nothing to gain or lose. Just continue to surrender. And surrender. And surrender. We'll sit in silence together until I ring the bell.
long were we disconnected for? How long were we disconnected for? How long were we disconnected for? How long were we disconnected for? Shut the fuck up. Stop saying it's good to see you. Stop saying I'm happy to see you. Stop saying I look like your children. Shut the fuck up. Be quiet and practice. Stop the fantasy world bullshit. Focus on your breathing. Right? This isn't a place to make up your fantasy world, your fantasy life, your fantasy ideas. Okay? That's not what we're doing here. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? The proper purpose is just to show up. That's it, Chanath. You can have bodhisattva vows, you can have intention to awaken all beings, you can have intention to alleviate your suffering, but the most important is just to show up. Join the one-day meditation retreat from Stephen, what's this guy's name? From Mugen Roshi. That's it. Show up and practice. Yes or no? Does that make sense? Try to meditate. Try as hard as you can. Try as good as you can to meditate. All right, Rohan, $5. Where'd that come from? We're looking for a $50 donation tonight as well, everybody. Don't worry about being here or what we're doing here, okay, Chanath? The people that are here are hopeless. Okay? There's no hope for anybody here. Don't think about that. Think about ways that you can leverage this relationship, this situation, this experience to practice more seriously for yourself by joining Stephen Mugen Roshi's retreat online on the Zoom meeting like I did. Okay, and now I'm there, now I'm here. So even if I just get a little bit of the juice, well, I'm already tuned in. I was playing Halo Infinite, and then I joined the Zoom meeting, then I'm meditating out of nowhere. How old are you, Chanath? "21, so love the life. Solipsism. MP Smith and Wesson, you're going to have to speak up a little bit because I'm not sure where what you're saying is coming from, if you know what I mean. There's an intellectual way of describing things, right? Then there is a reality. So there's a way of describing Earth, and then there's the Earth, right? So it's the same with these, little thinking modules that we have. You're right, Scott. More acid is not the answer for sure. The existence of aliens. Edwall, maybe we put that those words on a big $50 bill. No, it wouldn't be relevant, Edwall. It's like, what story or what thoughts or what things would be relevant to you seeing your own mind that is already here and now? Let's listen to Mugen Roshi. We're in the Zoom call with Mugen Roshi. Put that question on the back of a $50 bill, Scott, and I'll be happy to answer it. Stephen's great. He's a great guided meditation teacher.
Back, folks. I wanted to open it up and see if there's any questions or comments about the meditation. Jamie?
Yes. So I was wondering if you could clarify the experience of the darkness versus experience of luminosity. I was having a little problem trying to figure out when.
What's your addiction, Scott?
Each of those happens.
Yeah,
Really? You only have $50?
Brightness
Let's listen.
is associated with the manifest absolute, which would be the qualities or functions of pure love, pure presence, and pure awareness. And I present it like there's a nice dividing line, and it's not quite as convenient as that. So it does happen sometimes in our meditation when the other will begin to move in and move out. So that is part of the process. But I was trying to keep people focused more on the darkness and the absence and peace and stillness. That's why I didn't mention it. But yeah, that's it.
Well, Scott,
That happens.
that means you're reckless, right? So if you're really reckless, you'll send that $50 in a super chat.
Bob Fisher.
That's a great way to start.
What role is the breath supposed to play in, well, I guess in all meditations, but in Shigatasa specifically? One of the reasons I ask is that when we're moving between the chakras, like breathing into a particular chakra seems to be helpful to landing there.
Slow, go
But
slow,
when
go
we get
slow.
to the point where, we're prefer best is to have as little of his breath as possible, or I'm not really.
Do you mean a shallow breath?
Yeah, it's almost like I would describe it almost like a thin reed.
Okay.
I don't know if breath is supposed to actively play a role in it.
It doesn't so much. I don't mention it, and mostly, however it appears for folks, or however
one is breathing is fine. There doesn't seem to be any benefit to taking the breath as a part of the practice at that point. But if you notice it in some way or it's beneficial, you can try. But you really want it to be natural. You don't want it to be a doing or a technique, because then that we're efforting and that ends up slowing down the process. So mostly just let go of the breath, let it be natural, and find its own way. And if it's like a reed for you, then that's perfectly fine. Paul?
Well, you're very welcome here, whether you like
Yes,
it or not,
thanks,
Scott. Drugs
for
or
those
not.
meditations.
Come by often.
It was really interesting to approach cessation in a kind of more direct way. My body mind has been more wired for jhanas over the years of my practice, and while I didn't quite, I know you alluded to it in your books about the cessation waiting room. While I didn't find myself quite there, I often have, even recently. And there's the piece that you and I have talked a little bit about, that terror or that fear arising, and how to practice with it, particularly sort of innate goodness or the Brahma Viharas being somewhat of an antidote. But when
Don't be jealous.
when
You're just
that part of-
welcome.
like when the self
So
is
stick
that
around.
point where there's that fear, at some point do we have to sort of plunge into it, I guess. Yeah.
Not so much. What you can do once you're getting into the absolute, if the fear or terror begins, then try to orient toward the peace. The peace will calm and soothe that angst that the personality has. And it's, be aware, it's about loss of control, not knowing what's going to happen, feeling that things are getting out of your range of activity. And so part of it is each time you go into a new territory or go deeper, afterwards you want to reassure the self, okay, we went beyond the end of the block, which is where we are accustomed to going. Nothing bad happens. So we know at least to that new spot, there's nothing to be afraid of. And in this way, we sort of build our conditioning to go further and further. And at some point, the peace will and the stillness will soften that. And the trust in the absolute will develop.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Kuba?
Thanks. Trying to take notes and process this into the question here, because it was this experience kind of stabilized, and I'm wondering where I ended up. Where it's as we're going up to chakras in the wisdom, everything was very fast, looking out, but felt like from within my body. Then as we went up through the crown, that felt open, and then in the universal, it was kind of like a soap bubble, like around my body, and
Yeah, that's consciousness.
okay, and then
That's the felt sense of consciousness.
and then I was able. So every time I went universal, it felt a little out of body, like I was looking backwards towards it, and I could see the very thin kind of bubble. And then every time I went back into crown, looking outward was very, very vast. And then I, could that was just like stable, but I didn't know where to go from there. Every time I went universal, it was the bubble. And
Yeah.
every time I went to crown, it was vast.
The crown or the wisdom?
Or wisdom.
Yeah, I would go back to the wisdom eye, and I would try to let go into the vastness. that may be your portal.
Okay.
And really just let go, trust the process, and it's almost like we want to explore, so we have an attitude of journeying. So sort of look into the vastness, setting a soft intention to move deeply into the vastness. And really what I mean by that is try and use awareness to try to feel for any boundaries, borders, limits of the vastness. That helps us get into the vastness too. So try that next time if that's how it comes up, and see what happens.
Okay.
And Donna?
Thank you, Shifor, again to clarifying my concept, because I was having all the things what you mentioned, but I didn't know the name for them. So, for example, the mind collects first here, and then slowly it collects here, and then now it stays here on top, where the coolness I told you arises. And then also that's the sound you're talking about, that is always there 24 hours with me. Of course, when I'm sleeping, I don't know. But it's
Right.
always, sometimes it becomes very loud, that nothing else comes in, it's just the sound. And then, of course, the body disappears completely. And I didn't know that you're talking about that boundary becomes like broken, and then you become part of the big consciousness. That's what you
Yeah.
mentioned, and I didn't
Yeah.
know that part at all. So one thing I don't have is like a darkness you mentioned, because my mind becomes very, I don't know how to, luminous or whatever you can call it. It's completely, it's like you're in a fresh fog, and then you are so fresh, you're so like
Mhm.
bright eyes, your eyes are bright, your mind is so bright,
Yeah.
and everything looks like same as your mind, like the
Okay.
brightness is outside. And one thing that's happening regularly, that my head goes up during meditation, like goes up, and then I'm just looking up with all this freshness and whatever I don't know put the names, because I'm not a native English speaker, so I don't know, but it's
Sure.
it's so bright and so peaceful.
Yeah, so let awareness move into the brightness, the vast brightness, sensing and feeling for any boundaries or borders or limits, and just keep reaching with awareness further and further into the brightness, and see what you encounter.
Okay, but one thing which I must say, that I'm trying to connect that with the real life examples. So, for example, of course, the compassion becomes so deep now. Even I can see somebody else doing a good deed, and I cry. Like, wow, it's like it's doing it to me. Even they are helping an animal,
Right.
it feels like they're helping me, and I
Yeah.
start to cry. But
That's the non-duality of the absolute. There's no actual separation between you and I. There's an apparent one, but not a real one. So when we are deep in the unity, the love aspect of the absolute, we feel all other suffering and joy as our own.
And now I'm also seeing the deep-rooted triggers is something, and that part kind of confusing for me, that I feel all this maybe 15 hours a day, but if something happens which just triggers, and then I could see my irritation also arising in the mind.
Okay.
So I'm seeing it very clearly now. It's like I'm seeing all my defilements right there in front of me, and I think I don't know how to feel about that, because all these nice experiences, and again those defilements coming out. So I'm trying to be patient with me, because sometimes the old conditioning start putting the guilt trap
Yeah.
that you're still up like that. But yeah, so what you suggest in that moment when this kind of guilt arises, when I get like anger, I see my anger, I see jealousy, or also my
Yeah. I've got a book called Liberating the Self, which talks about working with emotions, psychological states like anger, hatred, greed, shame, etc. And so I would suggest looking at that. You basically want to be with the anger fully feeling it. And then when you're ready, try to get a little bit in front of the anger to see the vulnerability that triggered the anger. And when we can be with the vulnerability, that will let us understand the story and the triggers, and we begin to have options for unhooking that trigger. So give that a try and see what happens.
Do you think they all, at one point, they all just go away, or for you, what is your experience with
We
that?
have to work with them.
Okay.
It would be nice if they just went away, but it doesn't quite work that way. We have to put some effort into those, and you can do it during non-meditation time. You can explore your relationship to anger, your history, things like that. But I've got the book if that's of interest to you. That would help with that.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Dr. Rob.
Hello, Stephen, Mugen Roshi. I wanted to ask about, sometimes I practice a meditation, but it doesn't feel very, even though it's peaceful, it doesn't feel like I'm getting some cessation or like the stream entry. So I'm trying to determine, what is the characteristics of this skillful meditation that's leading to the stream entry or facilitating cessation or not.
Well, as I mentioned, there are the three ways that I know of that one can access cessation. So there is the mechanics of going through the samatha, then the vipassana practices, and then one is prepared to take cessation as an object, nibbana as an object. The others through the 8th jhana, the access concentration, or a guided meditation. So not all meditations will open to the possibility of cessation. Some are doing different things. There are sort of different techniques that we can do. And cessation only arises when we're ripe and ready. We have to really trust the wisdom of the Absolute and recognize when the ripeness is there, that quality, that opportunity for cessation will arise naturally.
And could you say something about the meditating on Nibbana? What does that look like, or what are the characteristics of that?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat complicated, but it's only available once one has done all of the other practices. So it's really not possible to jump ahead to that without doing all the different the 8 stages of insight. So I'd say you can look online and find information about the 8 stages of insight if you want to pursue those, and then be prepared for taking Nibbana as an object.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yunada and Satya.
Hey, so I feel like I got to the point of being right on the edge.
The good thing to consider about Chanath is the nonsense of any position that you hold, the irrelevance of any position that you hold. So, your way of thinking about it is not you applying yourself in meditation or what have you, right? So this is not something for you to think about or something for you to adopt, but it's really a practice of taking refuge. Like in this Zoom call, in this Zoom meeting here, right? This is a practice of taking refuge with the, very practiced Stephen, Mugen, Roshi. So you don't need to understand or adopt anything to practice along with that. You don't have to, just like being here with me, you don't have to understand what I'm doing or what I'm gearing people towards or what I'm emphasizing or something, to just be here and taking this as a practice, kind of taking refuge. And that's what meditation is. Meditation is a taking refuge, a very practical, a very applied refuge taking. So, don't let yourself get in the way of yourself taking refuge, practicing, etc. Don't do that. Don't depend upon that. Not a good idea. Compatible, incompatible, because you're not staying there. You're not training there. You're not taking refuge in there full time. So wherever we can take refuge in the Dharma, that's better than we're taking refuge in what have you. And I want to see that. 8 stages of insight. 8 stages of insight. Vipassana Nana. Okay. Vipassana Nana stages. There's a whole research paper there. Knowledge of mind and body, knowledge of cause and effect, comprehension of the 3 characteristics, knowledge of rise and fall, knowledge of dissolution, knowledge of fear, danger, knowledge of disenchantment, desire for deliverance, and then equanimity towards phenomena. Okay, so building through that equanimity towards phenomena in our meditation. And then, that's nice how they're writing this down here. First jhana, joy, serenity, focus. Second jhana, deep joy, serenity. Third jhana, contentment, equanimity. Fourth jhana, pure equanimity, peace. Fifth jhana, infinite space, formless. Sixth jhana, infinite consciousness, unity. Seventh jhana, realization of impermanence. Eighth jhana, indescribable peace, near enlightenment. Let's see. Go into the Gemini. It stays a minute, and then taking Nibbana as a meditation object. Eight. Knowledge of equanimity about formations, the highest mundane insight. The mind settles into a state of profound, impartial equanimity regarding all conditioned phenomena. There is no desire or aversion. Phenomena are simply seen as they are, arising and passing away without a self in control. Taking Nibbana as an object, transcendental moments meditation, object of this past consciousness is Nibbana. The path moment is immediately fruition consciousness. You'd have to be a doctor to understand any of this stuff, and I'm not a real doctor. All right, well, if we have any final questions, you can speak up, you can share, but the phone is on its way out, so please say hello, say goodbye. We're going to be wrapping up. Donations are always welcome and appreciated.
Ripening, keep practicing, keep doing deep practice, opening to awakening experiences when those occur, and letting those inform our practice. And we'll just keep ripening. and at some point it will, whatever we need to work will appear. Great. Joy?
Thank you for that meditation. So often I can be very good at following the meditations and redirecting my mind. My Theravada teacher, she also incorporates internal family systems into her work. And what I've been doing, what her directions to me have been is when it's hard to concentrate, go with the partner, work with the partner. So I think I was doing that during this one, and then it was very interesting because I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to experience cessation today or whatnot. But at that point, kind of close